So corresponding to these three quantities, we have 6 operators, and corresponding to 6 operators, we have 2 Cisco consisting of 4 operators each. So we can write the eigenvalue equation of all these 8 operators like this. First, this one, J1 square, J2 square, acting on this one, that is Ji square. We can write Ji square where I equal to 1 or 2. When Ji square acting on J1, J2, M1, M2, its eigenstate, we get result is Ji into Ji plus 1 H cross square. Then same thing, J1, J2, M1, M2. So this is actually 2 equations, 1 and 2, I equal to 1 and 2. Now these two, J1 is Z and J2 is Z, acting on this one. So Ji is Z acting on J1, J2, M1, M2. Ji is Z acting on, I can be 1 and 2, J1 is Z and J2 is Z. Acting on this one, you get MIH cross. Then J1, J2, M1, M2. Okay, so that also represents 2 eigenvalue equations. Now second Cisco, this one, J1, J2, Jm. So its operators are J1 square, J2 square, J square and Jz. So correspondingly we have 3 equations. J1 square, J2 square, you can write Ji square. So Ji square acting on J1, J2, Jm equal to Ji into Ji plus 1 H cross square J1, J2, Jm. Now J square and Jz. So J square acting on this one, Jz acting on this one. J1, J2, Jm, J1, J2, Jm equal to what is J square? Eigenvalue is J. So J into J plus 1 H cross square J1, J2, Jm, same thing, same eigenstate. Then Jz, that is MH cross J1, J2, Jm. So we have how many equations? 8 equations. This is 2, this is 2, and this is 2. But 2 plus 2 plus 2, 6, 7, 8. 8 equations. 8 eigenvalue equations. Okay. Now we have to remember one of the important idea which we learned during the first chapter. That is, so we have 2 representations. Okay, one is Jm. So the basis we can represent by Killian brackets. So this is a basis to J dimension we have already discussed, and another is get M1, M2. So we have 2 bases. Okay. So these are two representations or two bases in the same Hilbert space. So this is a basis. This is also another basis. Means they are different representations or bases, but both belongs to same Hilbert space. When you add it to angular momenta, the space does not change. Everything happens in the same space, same Hilbert space. So this representation, this basis and this basis, both bases are in the same Hilbert space. So what is the idea? So these two bases can be connected or related using, what is the idea? How this can be connected? Somebody respond. This is actually change of basis. This is one basis. From this basis you can go to other basis. So a particular transformation will do this. Change of basis. What is that? Somebody may respond. Anybody? So how we can perform change of basis in Hilbert space or in vector space? Change of basis. From one basis, how you can go to another basis? By a
Unitary multiply.
Yes, by a unitary transformation. You multiply with a unitary matrix, you will reach the next another basis. Okay. So ket Jm you will obtain from M1 M2 by a unitary transformation. Okay. So that unitary operator we can write as capital U. Okay, capital U. But this is this capital U actually depends on these 6 operators or their eigen or 6 operators eigenvalues. So all these 6 eigenvalues we have to write as the indices or members of this unitary operator. So that is J1, J2, M1, M2 colon Jm. Also it should be summed over M1 and M2. Okay, so that this kind of unitary operator can perform this change of basis, because this is not a simple unitary operator. It is slightly more dependent on many indices. All the indices J1, J2, M1, M2, Jm. This will be written in different ways. No problem. Somehow you have to show this dependency of all these eigenvalues. Okay. So this U is the main thing. U is the unitary operator. It's actually a matrix. Now that this result is there, now we can use another property of completeness. You take the completeness of any one representation. That is completeness you can represent. How you can represent completeness? Sum over M1 M2 secant M1 M2 followed by a bra M1 M2 which is equal to I or 1. This is the completeness condition of the uncoupled basis. Only M1, M2. Okay, uncoupled basis. So now you can use this. This is 1. So you can use 1 anywhere. So let us write ket Jm equal to ket Jm. Okay. Now you put this 1 here. So ket Jm is ket Jm. So you put this completeness sum over M1, M2, ket M1, M2, then bra M1, M2. Okay. Now you compare these two equations. This one and this one. You compare these two equations. Just to see, left side is same. Ket Jm, ket Jm. Right side is ket M1, M2 is same. Ket M1, M2 is here. Summation over M1, M2, summation over M1, M2 is here. Both are present on the right side. Sum over M1, M2, sum over M1, M2. Ket M1, M2, ket M1, M2. So what is U? What is the unitary operator? U is this quantity. Simply comparing these two results, we can write U J1, J2, M1, M2, Jm is U is this quantity. What is that? M1, M2, Jm. Is that clear? This is the U. These two quantities are same. These are same. Sorry, these two quantities are same. Summation is same. So U is this quantity. It is a just like a scalar product of different states, or that is a matrix. You can write that in expanded form. Actually, J1, J2 is here, J1, J2 is here. So you can write that also. J1, J2, M1, M2, then J1, J2, Jm. No problem if you don't even not writing J1 and J2. Okay. So this is the unitary operator which does the transformation. Okay. So what is this actually? This is J. Ket Jm is the state after addition. This is and this is before addition. This is before addition and this is after addition. Angular momentum, if you add, result is this one. So final result you will obtain from initial results with the help of this U. So our aim is to find out what is U. If you know U, unitary operator, you can get the final result. By knowing the initial angular momenta, you will get the final angular momenta. That is the idea. Okay. So our problem is to determine. Now addition of angular momenta means you find the U. So all our attempt is now going to find what is U. Okay. If you find U, you put it here, you will get the final result. Final eigenstate you will get if you know the initial eigenstates and U. So this U U is actually known with different names. Okay, many names are there. The quantity is very important, U. So U is known with many names. Actually, this is a matrix. This transformation matrix. Finally, it is in the form of a matrix. And I will tell the various names for you. So the coefficient U is known as, one name is vector addition coefficient. Some others will write like that. And one popular name is Clebsch-Gordon coefficient. And somewhere you can see that it is Wigner coefficient. Somewhere you can see that it is coupling coefficient. Okay. Sometimes you can see that C coefficient. C means Clebsch-Gordon or coupling. Okay. So U can be known in different names. Some books may use different names. So you have to familiar all these names. This is actually a coefficient or a matrix, transformation matrix with the same dimension, which we discussed earlier. Same dimension 2j1 plus 1 into 2j2 plus 1, but names different. Now this U, some people may write this U j1 j2 m1 m2 jm colon jm as U. Somewhere you can see that it is written as j1 j2 j m1 m2 m. All shows that it depends on all these indices. So you, in different ways you can write this. Okay. So our equation becomes, coupling equation becomes at jm equal to jm equal to sum over m1 m2 j1 j2 m1 m2 j1 j2 jm acting on j1 j2 m1 m2. Or you can write sum over m1 m2 C. Sometimes some people may, instead of U they use C also, no problem, because that is a coefficient. Instead of U some people use C. Okay, all are same. So here instead of U, let it write it as C. Okay, so C j1 j2 j m1 m2 m. Then j1 m1 j2 m2, in different ways you can write, no problem. All things are same. Now we know that m1 can take how many values? M1 can take 2j plus 1, 2j1 plus 1 values, starting from minus j1 plus 1 etc. up to plus j1. Similarly, M2 can take again 2j2 plus 1 values, starting from minus j2 plus 1 etc. plus j2. Okay, I think these ideas are clear. Now we are going to find the what is C, what is the exact form of C. I will use this Clash-Gordon coefficient. I will use the name Clash-Gordon coefficient. Later I will explain beginner coefficient, everything we can use later. In the case of addition of three angular momenta, coefficient is known as with another name. So in the case of when you are adding two angular momenta, I use the name Clash-Gordon coefficient. Okay, so we are next we are going to evaluate Clash-Gordon coefficient. How to find the Clash-Gordon coefficient? Okay, so the addition of angular momentum means you find the Clash-Gordon coefficient. If you know Clash-Gordon coefficient, rest things are very easy. Only this matrix multiplication is required then. So the main thing is you have to find the matrix. Okay. Now, before evaluating the Clash-Gordon coefficient, I will say there are some selection rules for which the Clash-Gordon coefficient exists, is not zero. Such rules are known as selection rules. Before finding the Clash-Gordon coefficient, we are going to derive these selection rules. Okay, so first I will state the selection rules. What is the that is also known as triangle rules. Okay, so for some values of these indices, allowed values of some indices, Clash-Gordon coefficient is non-zero. Clash-Gordon coefficient exists. That rules are known as selection rules. So first selection rule is SR1, selection rule 1. First rule is M equal to M1 plus M2. Okay, this rule should be satisfied for the existence of Clash-Gordon coefficient. Second selection rule, the J values, I think this is clear, M equal to M1 plus M2. Total M, first particle M1, second particle M2. Sum of first and second particle M values. M is the eigenvalue of Jz. Now, eigenvalue of J, total angular momentum, capital J, is small j. What is the value of J? J value varies between J1 minus J2 and J1 plus J2. And you can avoid the sign. Okay. So J varies between J1 minus J2 and J1 plus J2. So these are the two selection rules under which the Clash-Gordon coefficient exists. So first we will prove this selection rules. Then we will find the Clash-Gordon coefficient, actual form of Clash-Gordon coefficient. Okay. So the first selection rule is, that is very easy to prove. M equal to M1 plus M2. Selection rule 1, proof or derivation. Okay. So we know what is Z component of total angular momentum. That is the sum of J1Z and J2Z. If you add the Z component of first and second particles angular momentum, you get the Z component of the total angular momentum. This we have already written earlier also. Okay. Now let these operators act on ket Jm. So put ket Jm on the right side. So Jz acting on ket Jm, J1, J2, Jm. So this is J1Z plus J2Z acting on ket Jm. Put ket Jm on the right side. So now let these operators act. So what is the result of Jz acting on Jm? Eigenvalue equation is MH cross. MH cross ket Jm. Now right side, when J1Z acts, J1Z plus J2Z into ket Jm. Okay. Now J1Z plus J2Z. This cannot act on this one because this is not the eigenstate of J1Z and J2Z, because there is no M1 and M2 here. This is only J1, J2, Jm. No M1, M2 is here. Okay. So we have to write the instead of Jm, we can write using our earlier equation, sum over M1, M2. Okay. C J1, J2, J, M1, M2, M, then get J1, J2, M1, M2. So we can introduce the Clebsch-Gordon coefficient here. So you can write the eigenstate of J1Z and J2Z. So now these two can act on this and give the eigenvalue equations. Okay. So when these two are acting on this equation, you get M1H cross and M2H cross. Okay. M1H cross and M2H cross. Then sum over M1, M2. Same thing. After operation, it is same thing. Now you can whatever on the bring everything on to one side. So you can write sum over M1, M2, then M minus M1 plus M2 all into H cross C M1, M2, M J1, J2, J. Okay. Then for that, here also you have to write this, convert this ket Jm in terms of Clebsch-Gordon coefficients. So that is left side MH cross sum over M1, M2. Okay. Then C M1, M2, M J1, J2, J. Then get J1, J2, M1, M2. Left side also after operation we introduced the uncoupled representative basis with the help of Clebsch-Gordon coefficient. Now both comes to the single side. So this is same thing. Get J1, J2, M1, M2 equal to 0. Equal to 0. Okay. So sum over M1, M2, M into, M minus M1 plus M2, H cross, flush cordon coefficient, then get M1, M2 is 0. Okay. So we know this, we are searching for flush cordon coefficient not equal to 0. Okay. So C should not be 0. And this ket is not 0. This is one particular eigenstate. This is not 0. This ket is not 0. Okay. Flush cordon coefficient is not 0. So for the equation to be true, only condition is that for non-zero C, M1, M2, M, J1, J2, J, for non-zero flush cordon coefficient, what is the condition? This quantity should be 0. M minus M1 plus M2, that should be 0. Okay. So which means M equal to M1 plus M2. So that is the first selection rule. Okay. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Clear or no? Clear ആയില്ലേ?
ക്ലിയർ ആണ്.
ഇനി അതുപോലെ സെക്കൻഡ് selection rule. And for the second selection rule, I will start with an example first. Then I will give the proof. Okay. So first consider one example. Let we are adding two angular momenta. One is J1 equal to 1 and another is J2 equal to half. Okay. So then what is the J value? J is 3 by 2. J is 3 by 2. Okay. Now corresponding to this J1 value, what are the allowed M1 values? Corresponding to J1, we have M1 values. What are the allowed M1 values? 1, 0, minus 1. Corresponding to 1. 2J1 plus 1 values. That is 3 values. Now corresponding to J2, we have 2 values. Plus half and minus half. Okay. Now corresponding to 3 by 2. Okay. So these are the corresponding to J equal to 3 by 2. Total angular momentum 3 by 2. What are the allowed values of M? So this is M2. M2 values. These are M1 values. These are M2 values. And now what is the M values? Total M. Corresponding to J, we have M values. That is we have 3 by 2 and we have 3 by 2 and half. What is 2J plus 1? 3 by 2 into 2, 3 plus 1, 4 values. Okay. We have 4 values. 3 by 2 half minus half and minus 3 by 2. Okay, we have 4 values for j. Now what are the different states corresponding to the uncoupled representation? Now you don't consider this one, consider only these j1 and j2, m1 and m2. Correspondingly, we have how many states? How many m1, m2 states? Uncoupled states. Okay, we have corresponding to this one, j equal to 1, we have half. Okay, then 0 half minus 1 half and 1 minus half. I will explain. 0 minus half minus 1 minus half. See, we have 3 m1 values, 2 m2 values. So totals 2 into 3, 6 m1 m2 representations. So take 1 m1, 1, then half, then 0, then half, then minus 1, then half, then again 1 0 1 minus 1, then minus half minus half minus half. So correspondingly we have 6 states. Okay, so m1 m2 have 6 states, and here now consider here total corresponding to j we have 4 states. Now it is time is over.